Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk. Happy times, happy times. I did not post this match review after the match because I wanted to wait before I even recorded it for Sunday's games, and boy, was that the right decision. Okay, so basically, as you guys can see from the title, this is the match review of our recent La Liga fixture against Villareal. Real Madrid took that game 3 goals to 1 against the 10 men Villareal. So, we've got a few talking points about this, but before I start, I just want to thank everyone who is listening to this episode and this podcast in general and watching on YouTube. Make sure you continue to watch and listen and subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, share it with a friend, and comment your thoughts down below. Thank you. Let's get straight into it. So, a lot of talking points. The first one I want to talk about this game for me, which I found very impressive, was the second half. For me, the first half, a little bit slow. We were really deadlocked. The match was deadlocked. Villarreal, as I expected, they came out guns blazing. They came out full force attack, and then, they have this, like, against us. I see it against us a lot. Against Real Madrid, they have this like attacking potency. Like they just know how to keep on barreling down attacks against our defense, and sometimes they wear us down. Sometimes they beat us. Sometimes, of course, like today we win, but sometimes we also draw because it's just so deadlocked. It's even funny sometimes. I like to think of this game as one of those harder games that we play in the Liga. But fortunately for us, we managed to get the win in this one, but it was very deadlocked. And I would say they had a better first half than us. They did have the better first half because if you go back and watch that first half, they really did not let our attacks go through too much, and we weren't really playing our best. A lot of our players today, some of our players actually, not a lot, were not getting themselves into those best attacking positions and the positions that can get us into those high scoring chances. But overall, the first half was really deadlock on both sides, more favor to them. They had that beautiful chances, and Pepe was playing so amazing today. Gay was playing so crazy today, or not today on the match, and they had this chance where Nicolas Pepe gave the ball through, and I'm not sure if it was Idrissa Ganage who went for the attack or someone else. I'm not too sure on that one. He had this chance where he broke through our defense, and Dean Hoyson and we were playing Dean and Militao. It should have been. He managed to putt through them because that was really poor defending. And then he got through and he was open on goal. And I told myself, okay, 1-0 Villarreal will continue with the match as it goes on. But then, man, words cannot describe how thankful all of us as Real Madrid fans should be for Thibaut Courtois, because that was the perfect goalkeeping decision. He rushed out a little bit. He goes out. He paces the man, waits a little bit, immediately jukes him, tells him, I know where you're going. I'm going to send you there. Goes down to the floor, takes a save. Ball goes up in the air. The guy gets a rebound, pushes it out, shoots it, goes wide. Eventually, it's flagged off. I think it was either offside or there was a foul on the second shot. But, sometimes you don't know if it's offside. So that could have been checked as offside, but then given as a goal. But Thibaut Courtois, man, props to him. I think this game kept reminding us, just as he always does, why he's one of the best keepers in Europe right now and in the world in general. But then when the second half started, that's where I think the game picked up for us. During the second half, we started to find our groove a little bit more, and then early on, Vinicius Jr. gets that beautiful pass in, goes on the left, cuts in, fakes the defender a little bit, 1-2, cuts inside, takes a shot, deflection off the defender's foot for Villarreal, sends the keeper the other way because he's obviously waiting for a wider shot, and then it goes near post, enters in. Doesn't matter, they still kind of Vinicius' goal. He's not going to complain, we're not going to complain, but that was where it started. And then, to be honest, from there, the game started to really change and shift into our type of groove, because from that moment, from the first goal which Vinicius scored, we started to look sharper in our attacks. We started to move better, and Mbappe started moving better. Vinicius, for me, you guys can see it in the title, man. He listened to me. Isn't it weird how the last episode was me talking about, you need to find that groove, you need to do better. And I'm not going to be one of those people who, after one game, because look at after the Atletico game, everyone was talking about how he gave that beautiful skill to the assist for Arda goal, and everyone was talking about how he's back now, and Vinicius Jr. is, making waves again, and he's back. And then we had the Kairat game where against the maybe even D-tier team in a Kazakhstani team, he managed to drop a 6.4 and get himself subbed off without a goal and assist, or even like one shot on target, I think, which was very poor. So for this game, I'm not going to be saying he's back or anything. I'm just going to be saying, like, the boy listened to my advice, and like I said in the last episode, when I told you guys, remember when I said tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because one of your friends is probably friends with Vinicius, his friend, and then they would tell Vinicius. So whoever did that, guys, make sure you comment down below which one of you guys told your friend to tell a friend, told a friend, found Vinicius, because I thank you, because his words in this episode clearly reached him. I just need to check if I have a Brazilian audience, because maybe he reached it, he translated it like 1-2 times, and then he heard what I said, because he listened to me, because genuinely everything I said he needs to find a way of getting into those attacks and not just using the same skills over and over again. He did try different skills. It wasn't. I'm still not saying this was like his best game, like he's back, but it was a very good game because his skills were different. He was finding a way to coordinate with Mbappe, even though at times they did find a way to clash a little bit here and there. I didn't like how, I think it was the last 10 minutes of that game, towards the point before Mbappe scores and gets his injury, which we'll talk about later. They were having the situation where Jude even had to start going into the striking position because Vinicius and Mbappe were just passing to each other on the left. And I know we were doing defensive maneuvers to just like hold the ball and take the dub, get the 3 points and go. But I still don't love to see when all of our attack is just centered on the left side and they're clashing with each other and there's no one in the center. It really shows that, sometimes the attack going through the center isn't our best strategy and teams can exploit that. But yeah, in the second half, we looked sharper in our attacks. We, had a better tempo in that game. We started finding our groove. Started finding those counterattacks. I love the midfield work. I love the defensive work, which I'll talk about in a minute. And genuinely, we started having a bit more control over the game. And then as it went on, when Marino got, not Mourinho, but Marino got that yellow card, and then Vinicius, I saw the smile on his face, man. I'm gonna talk about it because that for me I think was the bullet and the nail in the coffin for these guys. When he got that yellow card, Vinicius was smiling and he was happy because he knew you don't go against Vinicius with a yellow card. Not because he's gonna like skew you and like force you to make a challenge, because that guy he knows how to get the fouls. He knows how to bait him, and that's what happened. He kept trying and trying, but then in the second afterwards, I think it was the 70th minute, I checked that, he baited him. He just goes straight into him. Marino has no choice because he's like, if I let this guy go, we risk a goal. Had to grab him, had to put his leg a bit in front of him, trips him up, and Vinicius, first thing he does, he just does the Vinicius. He goes on the ground, he smiles, looks at the ref, and raises his hand, saying, that's a card. We all know that's a card, and anybody can come at me for that one. I'm gonna talk about the other thing you guys can come at me for, because that one, kind of dicey. I'll get to it just in a second. But for the red card on Marino, and by the way, it's not a direct red card, so that foul was not a direct red card. Hear my words on that one. I do not believe that if it was a direct red card that he gave, it would be valid, but it is a foul that vices a yellow card, and we can all accept that, and it's true, and he was already on a yellow card, so 1 + 1 yellow card makes 2, which makes a red card, so he got out. And then from there, they didn't really know what to do. They tried to, do that little weird defense strategy, and then we'll try and attack when we're free, but we didn't really give them too much space, fortunately. But now I'll talk about the thing that most people might debate because it's a hot topic for us this season. And by the way, even if you find a lot of Real Madrid fans who are saying that they don't see it, we all see it, and that is of course our penalty situation, guys. I personally, I've started to notice that it's getting a bit funny, not in the sense of like fake ones, but just like the consistency of us getting penalties in our games. But I will tell you this: if a team plays 20 games and in those 20 games they had 25 penalties, so in a game they had 2, so maybe they had 3, and then they end up having 25 penalties in 20 games. Like each game they had a penalty or 2. It may seem dicey, it may seem like this favoritism, but if in most of those the penalties are actually valid, what do you guys want the referees to do? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Real Madrid fan because supporting this club you have to be like, not when I say like me, I don't mean like I'm the perfect fan, but I mean don't get easily baited, because it's easy for people to try and bait you. So many people are going to try and bait you out where they see that, like for this one, I'll genuinely say for this one, Vinicius goes down in the box. It's a penalty worth challenge, but they'll tell you it's not. And then, but even later on, let's be honest, that second challenge that wasn't given, for me, could have been the penalties. For me, it sort of like cancels out for this game. But firstly, they're gonna like try and bait you. Like even if there's a time where it's a genuine penalty, as long as it's us, like let's say in our next game that we're gonna play in La Liga, someone actually goes down, like genuinely goes down hard in the box, and then they give a penalty, it'll always be, oh, it's another penalty for these guys. So you have to be thick-skinned, man. You have to not, take it like that. And 2, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I tell everybody who like my friends and my family who know me, as what I say is that when your player signs for our club, bro, You don't just sign a contract to play for the club. You sign a contract with me where I will defend you till the day you retire, bro. I will defend you. I was still low key defending Casemiro even at Manchester United, guys, because when you wear my shirt, bro, you're in. Welcome to the familia. Mi casa es su casa. You know, our house is your house. Our home is your home. So I defend the players, bro. So I'm gonna continue saying whether you tell me Vinicius Junior is like is a shitty player, I don't believe it. You tell me Mbappe is making Vinicius dead. I told you guys that's an excuse, bro. I don't believe in these. But for the penalty situation, I feel like we do attack a lot. And I'm not saying other teams don't attack, but sometimes, it's unfortunate that we're the ones who get these penalties a lot because I feel like I'm putting this out there. It's a hot take. You guys can debate with me in the comments if you want. But if it was any other like sort of team like let me say Atletico Madrid kept getting penalties like this, it would just be like ESPN post here and there, Bear Football post here and there, but nobody would really be talking about it. But because it's us, and our history with referees and penalties and all that. But I don't like to get into the politics of the game. I just love the game, so I want to watch the game. So for me, that's just my take. You guys can talk about what you think about that and let me know in the comments. So they got the red card, and Vinicius scored a penalty. But by the way, I just want to, I know I'm saying like my boy might be having a good game and might show some signs that he can be back. But one thing you shouldn't be back at, Vinicius, and I'm just gonna be honest with you on this one. You should not be our penalty taker. I'm not even a hater, but bro, that penalty was cheeks, man. That penalty, bro, he scared me because when he started doing his run up, I was already getting like, this guy gonna miss? Like this guy literally gonna miss when he's about to get a brace and show some hype, and then he steps up and takes it, and I'm like, nah. And then I saw, and I don't know if anyone else had this perspective. The way I was watching it on my TV, when the keeper saves it, because if you saw how the penalty went, it bounced under the keeper's arm and then entered the goal. But it looked like he saved it and it came out. And then I just saw Vinicius Junior running, and I was like, oh, you scored, but nah, you gave me a heart attack, bro. you just leave it to Mbappe, man. Let him get his pens. I know you also want the stats, but anyway, Vinicius Junior came in on this 3 goals and 4 assists. He's now got 5 goals and 4 assists in La Liga, which, by the way, is some good stats. Seeing as we've only played about, I think this was game week 8 or 9. Having 9 9 games for me is very consistent. I hope he can continue getting up those stats because people forget that sometimes he has good stats. Even last season, even though y'all was slandering him, not his best season and everything, he's still at you GA merchants who always want to talk about this guy had 38 goals and 26 assists, bro. That's like 64 GA in only 37 games. Check Vinicius' stats, bro. Last season he had some good GA. It's not perfect, I'm not saying, but he had some high GA. I think he might have even had top competing GA with some of the people who were in that top 10 list of the Ballon d'Or. No names mentioned. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about, Mr. Kylian Mbappe. I'm just going to give him a little quick one. I commend you, bro, because the fact as that game kept going, I said, okay, this is where the little streak goes. For those of you who don't know, I don't know him, and I love it that this season we're finally getting some striking potency back, bro. I feel like that's one of the reasons why last season felt so, not exciting for attacks is because we didn't have a lot of striker dominance last season. We had a lot of winger dominance. Like, look at it. We had Salah, we had Rafinha, we had Dembele, we had Kvaratskhelia, we had Doué, we had Lamine Yamal, we had man, who flipping Michael Olise was in there, Cole Palmer was in there at times. We even had the late run World Cup, João Pedro making some waves here and there. We had even Luis Diaz was doing some work with Liverpool last season, but we had too many wingers, in the big news. We even had midfielders now. We have the Pedris, De Jong, Vitinhas, all these guys, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Martin Odegaard. We even had some of Saka last season, but what I didn't really appreciate was the lack of striking potency. But this season, guys, the work Harry Kane, the work Kylian Mbappe, even Lewandowski and Ferran Torres now, the work Haaland, and finally, I'm one guy who's gonna be honest, bro. I love Erling Haaland. I love when he has a good season. I don't care if people say he's not the most flashy or dynamic striker. I feel like he doesn't need to be in that CD system, and I just love that he's just there to score the goals, and he scores the goals. And by the way, because I'm recording this after Sunday's games, CD won 1-0 yesterday, and he did score the goal. And by the way, that was my FPL, so shout out to him. But if you get my point, I'm trying to say I love the work strikers are doing this season, like Mbappe, Haaland, and Harry Kane. This charge at the golden boot is going crazy. Each one is just keeps scoring, and Kane right now is on another level because he's on top. I'll be honest, he's on top, but Mbappe is a very close second. he continued his scoring streak. He's now scored, I think, in every game we've played this season. I didn't think it would happen, but 83rd minute he gets the ball. They gave him space. They really just gave him space on that one, and he said, "I'm gonna take it." Runs up because they thought he was gonna cut to the left. Runs up to the right side, leaves the ball for Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz, I'm gonna say that for me, that's respect for your brother there. He knew that Mbappe was obviously looking for a goal in this game. It didn't look possible, but he knew he was looking for that goal. He was well within his rights to shoot that. Even to be honest, even if he missed, I wouldn't have been. The first thing that would have come to my mind wouldn't have been, you should have cut it back to Mbappe, bro, because Mbappe wasn't even fully in a position inside the box when he got that pass. He gave it to him and was still running up, so he had to shift his body, and the defender was like on the back of Mbappe. But Brahim Diaz, bro, so unselfish, gives a beautiful just cut back in. Even the keeper, the defenders, the fans in the stadium, the cameraman, the commentators, even I flipping didn't know that he was giving that cut back. My eyes went like, whoo, and then I see Mbappe and I just said, okay, there it is. Hits a little nudge in, ball goes into the net. Mbappe again is getting his name on the scoring board. I think he's now up to 15 goals this season. Competitions. I think that's 9 in La Liga. I need to check that. But beautiful for Kylian Mbappe, man, to continue that goal scoring form of his. I hope it can just see itself all the way through this season. But unfortunately, some bad things do come for every good, and unfortunately, Mr. Kylian Mbappe did pick himself up a little injury there. At the time of me recording this episode, this is early Monday morning. I have seen that he's being assessed. Him and was it? No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Arda Güler. I think it was Arda Güler. Him and Arda Güler getting assessed because they picked up some slight injuries there. And I think Mbappe should be out for the international break, but I'm sure he'll be back even for time for a Clasico, which I hope is like the case because we do need Mbappe in the Clasico. I'll be honest with you guys. The next thing I want to talk about was our defense. The defense in this game, I'll say, if you look at the score, of course, we only conceded 1 goal. So it would paint a picture of us being so perfect and then crumbling at one point, which to a degree is true, but the defense wasn't at its peak, as I've said, because I don't fully trust our defense yet. Carreras was letting a little bit of things slide on that wing, but I've realized the problem, and that's why I feared. I said if Lamine Yamal is playing, it would be a very difficult game for him, is because he's more strong and athletic than he is fast and quick. And not just running speed and acceleration, even reaction times. He doesn't have the quickest reaction times. So if he's playing someone shifty, like someone who can go like right, left, step over roulette, elastical like that, he's a little chop in, chop out. He doesn't react too quickly to those. So he's someone who can enjoy an attacker who, I think my perfect example would be an attacker like who? I genuinely think he could do well, and we'll see it against like a likes of a Salah now, not Salah before, but Salah now. Someone who has to take their time a little bit. Not to say Salah is slow, but you know what I mean. Like he's more calculated in his moves now, as he was opposed to when he was there before, where he would just run at you and just like doing all those skills. But Carreras has this little thing, and I hope he can work on it. His reaction time is kind of slow. He needs to pick up. Dean, let me just confirm if it was Dean and Militao, because I keep saying Militao, but I could be wrong. Just give me a second, guys. Let me check this out real quick. Real Madrid versus Villareal lineups. Yeah, I'm right. It was Dean Huijsen and Eder Militao. I feel like Dean had a better game than Militao. Militao, of course, I don't expect like the most, 10.0 ratings from him, but when he does solid work, he does solid work, and he did it again. He's there to control, and I love that he does that. I was shocked. You guys know I've said it in the previous episodes, which you should go listen to. Real Talk, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now on YouTube Season 2. I've been saying that I feel like, when I saw him, I didn't expect much, because somebody doesn't come back from a double ACL and just, pick up their form. By the way, also Rodri got injured, and now I'm thinking, bro, it might be like time to put it back in the side. Not because I don't think he's coming back from this injury and just continue being the top Rodri. Same thing I thought about Militao. Like, you ain't gonna come back and just start being 2022 Militao all over again. But he's shocking me. He's playing, considerably well, and I think that that's a good thing because we need help. But one thing I did appreciate, of course, was we were 2-0 up, and the game was kind of dicey. Don't look at this game and think it was our perfect game. No, this game was kind of dicey. We just managed to control it and then take advantage of it when it mattered. But the goal they scored, and let me just check. I even want to give props to the guy who scored this goal. The goal that Jorge's Mikautadze. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Jorge's Mikautadze. I knew he had a funny name. He was from Georgia. Them Kravishkelian niggas. But okay, the goal he scored was amazing. That was a beautiful pass from Pepe, and then gets it outside the box. Doesn't even waste his time. Just fires that thing in. When that goal entered and it became 2-1, I actually thought these guys might equalize. We might be letting this game slip if we're defending like that, purely because of the defense. Because if you go watch that goal, there was no one on him, and I don't like when we give spaces anywhere on the field, because that's how you get, you know, silly goals happening against us. Even these free kicks everybody seems to want to score against us. It's when we give people a chance. You don't give people a chance, they're gonna take it, bro. Even Alvarez is going the Champions League round of 16, first leg last season. We gave him space. We let him have that space, give him time to shoot, and just people will score those goals. So we need to work on that. The next point I want to talk about is another man who deserves a big applause for me. This man. Let me even have a sip of water first, bro. Whoever, and I told you guys I need to do an investigation and find them. I am yet to locate the suspects. But when I do find you, the people who said that Mr. Federico Valverde, yes, that is who I'm talking about, Mr. Federico Valverde, whoever said that this guy does not want to play out of his position and is not willing to give his all to the club, I want you guys to go on your knees right now. Pause. I want you to go on your knees right now. Get a picture of Valverde, hang it up on the wall, and start bowing down and crying and saying your sorries to this man. This is another round of applause. Because, guys, the work he does is right back. Bro, I'm not even here to glaze Valverde like that, but I have to, because the number of times I want you guys to go back and watch that game. If anyone thinks he dropped a bad performance, I literally want you to go back and watch that game, because in this match that we had, Mr. Federico Valverde dropped a 7.8. He was the third best player according to FootMob, according to FlashScore, according to LiveScore, and according to MatchRatings.com. He was the third best rated player on our team, and in this game, in the game, I'm looking at everybody else here. Nobody else, went to his level. So he was the third best performing player on that field. Third best. Of course, number one, according to these guys, Vinicius Jr. had a perfect 10 rating, which I'll get to in a second. Number two, Kylian Mbappe dropped an 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5 on FootMob, FlashScore, LiveScore, and MatchRatings.com. And Mr. Federico Valverde dropped a 7.8. This guy was playing right back. This guy's a central midfielder. Central midfielder, by the way. And not like he's one of those Gareth Bale types where he was a right back, became a right winger, became a center mid. Nah. He been midfield. He been playing that midfield role. He's gone in right wing at times, like inverted right winger, like what Adegula's doing now. But he's a midfielder. So picture Adegula playing a right back. You know how scary you start seeing that image? That's what Valverde is doing. And he dropped a 7.8. I'm saying the Will Smith right now to all of, and come close, to all of you who wanted to say that Fede Valverde does not give his all to this club and doesn't love us enough to come out of his position to help the team. Keep my Fede's name out your mouth. I said, keep my Fede's name out your mouth. Yeah, and you can fill in the blanks, because I want you to shut up. I would never want you to ever say anything about this guy. I talked about in the last episode, I think. I saw a video of someone saying this guy is a fraud because as a midfielder, he doesn't have his best games. He's never dropped a world-class performance as a midfielder. He's always doing it as an attacking player, a right-wing inverted player, or he's doing his work at right back. But as a midfielder, he gets fraudulent performances from there. I want to say something. You can keep your Pedris. You can keep your Kimmiches. You can keep your Musialas. You can keep your flipping and Florian Wirtzes. You can keep your McAllisters. You can keep your Gravenbergs. You can keep your who the world class midfielders are. Your Vitinhas, your João Neves, your everyone. You can keep them. You can keep them. Okay, maybe you can send a Pedri to our team, but you can keep them. You can keep them because right now I don't need them if it means sacrificing the workhorse that is Fede Valverde. You can call him a fraud all you want. I am not. It's one of the things I said. Being a Madrid fan, you defend your players and be thick-skinned. I don't care. Say what you want. Yap all you want. Sure, he's never dropped a world-class game as midfield that we can think of in the moment. I don't care. I would rather take him over anybody because tell me right now, apart from Kimmich, who actually did start as a right back, so he doesn't even count. Tell me right now, in any of Europe's top 5 leagues, in Europe's top 5 teams in those top 5 leagues, which midfielder is doing what Fede Valverde did against Villareal right now? Trent got injured in the Marseille game 3 minutes into that. Carvajal got injured in the Atletico game, I think 52 minutes into that. We came into this game against a tough Villareal, who I think were third on the table, with no right backs. We're already facing defensive problems, by the way. I talked about them. You can go check the previous episodes, the review of Atletico's game and the Vinicius We Need to Talk episode. We were having defensive problems. In and out, our defense was just not coordinated, not strong enough, and in that right position, if Dean is not doing his best work, it was dead. Because Militao plays on that right side. Dean plays next to Carreras on the left. So it was dead on the right. Militao couldn't run there, so we had no right back. Going into a teammate with this beautiful attack. And what do? He proves you wrong. He sent out a message. He sent out a message talking about, talking on some, I don't know why you guys are saying this. I always give my all for this club. And he said, no, words are half the solution. As a man, you need to know that words are only half the solution. He said, I'm going to show you. I took that personally. He took that personally. My boy went to right back. And man, go watch that game right now. It's not glaze. It's not lies. It's not propaganda. Go watch the full 90 minutes plus of that match. And see everything. If you feel lazy, if you don't have the attention span to watch an entire game, or if you just don't want to watch us, just go search on YouTube for Fede Valverde playing right back against Villareal yesterday or on Saturday. Saturday, what, 4th? I think it was the 4th. Yeah, 4th of October, 2025. Fede Valverde, Villareal right back performance. Go check that out. You see that 7.8 is maybe even kind. I give him an 8. I actually give him an 8 because the way he used his strength and speed and defensive timing to stop almost everything, and I say it, almost everything that went through that left side. All the danger I was seeing was on Carreras' side, to be honest with you, and Carreras had a good game. I'd give him like a 7.4 in this game. I said he was bad, a little bit bad, but that doesn't mean he was bad. He was good. He was playing well, but it's because he had so much pressure on that side because they saw that when the balls went there. My man was in the midfield. There were so many times. I think like 4 or 5 times I saw watching that game where Valverde was on the midfield by the time they were sending a counterattack. Tell me why when their left wing gets the ball there, someone is moving at like 100 kilometers per hour, reaching to him, pushing him off the ball, kicking it out, and it's not even a foul. Ref doesn't even look twice. Ref doesn't even think of giving a foul. Nobody does. Even the defender, even the attacker for Villareal himself stands up, dusts his knees and says, wow. Wow. This guy, man. This effing guy, man. Tell me why there were times where I thought Militao ain't reaching this. I see a guy running full speed, coming back, swiping the ball, not even losing it to a throw-in or to a goal kick or to a corner. Literally sweeping it up, running up with it, and then sending it to the midfield for a counterattack. Tell me why I'm seeing that. If this is the guy you want to say is a fraud, if this is the guy you want to say, does everything but is not a master at anything, you want to call him, jack of all trades, master at none, I don't care. He may not be excellent at one, but he's not an A+ at any, if you want to say that, but he's an A at everything else. Attacking. We didn't see the shots. I just wish he even, genuinely go watch that game. At the end, he had that shot, like the final shot of the game was Valverde's. He had a shot from outside the box. I was just praying, man. I was genuinely praying that went in because it was going to be one of those Fede Valverde rockets. I was praying it went in so that would be the stamp. That would be the stamp. If he scored that goal, 8.5 rating secured. Because if he scored that goal, he would have had the defensive play. He would have had midfield attacking potency because he was carrying on that right wing too, by the way. He was playing double trouble. There were a lot of times where Arda was giving the ball to the right side to Valverde by the right side of the attack, not the defense, and then he would have had the goal to show you that he can do it all. So, man, talk about a silencer, bro. Y'all just talk because it was the Atletico game. Let's be honest, it was his bad game, but we all have bad days. But it's what you do after as a man that matters, and he just said, "Shh, watch the game." Watch the game. That was Valverde. You know, he deserves another one. He deserves another one of those. Stand up right now if you're listening to this and give him a standing ovation because he deserves it. Talking about he don't want to give his all to the club, man. That guy is literally giving his all to the club. If he got injured, man, I don't want to watch my team if he got injured, bro. Next thing, our two young boys on the right side, Mr. Arda and Mr. Franco Mastantuano. For me, they had similar games where they were effective at times. Maybe a bit better for Arda in the first half, but not their best games. I understand why they got subbed off. I'll be honest, I didn't even have any problems with that. Because they didn't have their best games. They were okay, but not too bad. I don't want to talk too much about it because they didn't do that much for me. But good games, but just good. Like, literally just cutting into the good. So that's what I wanted to say about them. In the midfield, we start with Tchouaméni and Ceballos. For me, those two were good, but they were not always at their sharpest. I feel like Ceballos actually had a better game than Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni, this game was a little bit slow at times, and he needed Valverde to help him on that midfield. Yeah, that's me talking about Valverde, talking about the midfield. Valverde, the right back, was helping Tchouaméni in the midfield, just letting you guys know. Just letting you know. Yeah, Tchouaméni was doing excellent. I was not doing his best, sorry. But, you know, he'll pick up. I just wanted to, let you know. For me, Ceballos, I'll give him 3 claps. Props to him. Good game. At his age and where he is right now, I don't expect, the 9.0 ratings, Modric type of games from him. But, you know, he's that guy. I just love that he never gave up on his dream of playing for us because he said, because I've heard the commentators say this in La Liga and I feel it's true, is that apart from, of course, Atletico, okay, maybe even Atletico in their downtimes, but Barcelona and Atletico, apart from us three, the big three, any other club, the way he is, the type of man he is, he would be a starter. But at Madrid, he accepted that. This not my time. I ain't going to be no starter here, but when I come in, I'm going to show you that I'm worth playing. So, props to him. Tchouaméni, you can do a little bit better. You can adjust, but, he's always doing defensive work, so I don't really judge too much on his attack. The next point was, this was a good match. Genuinely, I saw some people saying this was a bad game. I can see where you're coming from if you want to say that, but for me, purely even because of the game that it followed, the previous game before it, not the Champions League one, the previous La Liga game before this one, that's why I'm saying this was a good match. This, Kairat was always supposed to be it was expected. To be honest with Kairat, I've said it in the previous episode, it was expected that after the Atletico game, we would take out our wrath on them to show the fans that it was a blip, but we're not off key, we're not just start losing anyhow. But that was expected. This one, going from Atletico to Villareal, bro, hey, I said it. I said that our October games, the streak might end, the La Liga winning streak. I said it's either going to be Atletico, if not Atletico, it'll be Villareal, if not Villareal, it'll be Barcelona. It ended with Atletico, and in the next game, this one against Villareal, it was a good showing that we still have our problems, because we have seen our problems, but we're picking up the pace. We're showing that we still got it. Mbappe showing us I'm still going to be scoring the goals. Don't worry. Vinicius is saying, if I'm serious, maybe I can come back. Hopefully he comes back. But it was a good game after the Atletico game. Good statement from Xavi Alonso. His management was good. He took out the people when they needed. I'm happy that he didn't overstress Mbappe, purely because Mbappe also just wanted to go out, but he didn't force it. I personally, I'll be honest, I would have liked to see Endrick come on in this game, and then Vinicius comes off for Rodrigo. So I wanted to play Rodrigo, Endrick, and Brahim Diaz, because I just feel like Endrick, man, I don't like to see. He's people want to talk about how the cameraman used to show Rodrigo, always looking sad because he's not getting playtime, bro. When I see Endrick, it breaks me because it's he knows that me starting over Mbappe is a dream, and then when I got injured, Gonzalo Garcia came in and started doing this crazy stuff, so maybe I'm even becoming a third option. But it's just touching. I just hope he gets some playtime when the game, I wanted to see a bit of him because the game was dead for me. When it became 3-1, after Mbappe scored, the game became a little bit dead there on Villarreal's side because they were just more defending to take this loss and just not concede more goals. Take the 2-goal deficit and then take it out. I would have loved to see some Endrick action there, just to see him, back from injury and playing. Now, for the reason that this episode and this video were being recorded today and not after the game, I wanted to see We went 2 points up against Barcelona because, as you know, when we lost to Atletico, we accounted for their draw, so they became 1 point ahead of us at the top of the table, and they beat Sociedad. Unfortunately for them, but very, very fortunately for us, Barcelona, what happened? They dropped points. They did not just drop points, they dropped a stinker. Some are even saying, and it's not just me, it's not me, it's not even just, it's not me. Some are saying, know your mind when Rafinha no show, bro, because Barcelona, for those of you who do not know, yesterday, Sunday, 5th October, they lost. And they did not just lose, they were like battered. 4-1 by Sevilla. Sevilla, who are making a charge for that comeback season. I can see the vision. You talked about us against Atletico. This is our first real test. How you gonna get whooped 3-goal deficit? Well, you got whooped a 3-goal deficit. Your first test was Sociedad and you drew it. Oh, not Sociedad. It was I think it was Villareal. I don't know who you played that day when you drew. But then this was your real first test, and you guys lost 4-1. I don't know who heated you. And I'm not gonna be mean. I saw that they do still have their injuries. I want Juan Garcia back because I'm tired. I don't like it when you lose a keeper because that's the type of quote unquote excuse that can fly by because sometimes you trust your keeper. That's why they bought him. It's like with us with Courtois. If I put Lunin and Lunin had a stinker of a game, it could be to some degree valid if I said some of these goals we conceded, Courtois would have saved them. But overall for Barcelona, I haven't actually fully watched that game and analyzed it. I just saw the scores and then watched some highlights. But they lost, and great for us because now we're back, certified. Not even at game advantage. Nope, we have the same amount of games and we're back on top of the table, guys. Can I get 2 claps for Real Madrid being 2 points ahead of Barcelona on top of the table? Yeah, we're back on top. Hopefully, we can keep this. We've got 2 games. Oh no, we got a game before their Clasico each. So hopefully, I'm actually hands praying that we win our next game in La Liga, because if we can keep that 2-point deficit, and then if unfortunately for whatever reason they manage to beat us in El Clasico, which is a high possibility. You guys know my take on this. This El Clasico, I'm really going in, with us just viewing to see what happens. I'm not going in fully optimistic of us and also not fully pessimistic like we've lost now, because I'm seeing like if we're serious, it's always if we're serious with us, but will we be serious? So if we win our next game, we'll still have the 2 points. So even if we lose in our Clasico, it's not the worst of damage, because then they just go back on top by 1 point, which is very, very, if they draw and we win, we get it back. If they lose and we win, we get it back. If we both draw, it stays the same. It's okay when it's a 1 point deficit this early, because it can change, it can always shift. But if we were to lose our next game and they win it and they go 1 ahead and then win El Clasico and go 4 ahead, that's kind of dicey, because then we're now looking for 2 games to get the lead back. But fortunately, I don't know if this is possible, and I don't think so, because after this result, Hansi Flick is obviously gonna reshape a lot of things and work on his team. But post international break, if it's possible that they lose their next game and we win, and then we end up going 5 points ahead, and then we win El Clasico and end up going 8 points ahead, that would genuinely make October the best month of this entire year, no matter what anybody says. And by the way, there's been a lot of exciting things that have happened to me this year. My birthday is in December, but December and my birthday and Christmas being the same month, bro. Heck to that, bro. I don't care. October would be the best month, even if it's the hottest because I'm from Zambia in Africa, so it's a sub-Saharan, really hot during this period of time, so it gets heated and you get upset. But it would be the best month. It would feel like I'm chilling in the snows of America December, bro, because that would be the happiest. That would make me the happiest. I would literally say, don't give me a birthday gift, just give me that. That's a birthday gift in of itself, bro. For us to go safely 8 points ahead by the end of October, going into the new year. Them needing 3 whole games for us to drop it, which is not impossible, but that puts us in the safest position, bro. Anyway, guys, I think one of the final points I want to make is just the rehash another point, which is Vinicius Jr. I hope this could be this precedent. I'm gonna say this was not his perfect game, even though he averaged out a 10 rating from all these sites that do like player ratings and what. He had a 10 rating. I think maybe that's not a little bit valid. I would give him a 9 point something, because I don't think it was a perfect game for him. But for him to get 2 goals after the Kyride game, for him to drop this was amazing. Good message to the fans. I commend him. I hope he can continue this. Our next game is Getafe away. They're currently sitting on 11th. Playing away against those guys is difficult, no, because they don't have the best attack. I'll be honest, they don't have the best attack, but what they do have is defensive strength. And if they're serious, they can hold us back. I don't know if Kylian Mbappe will be back for that game. If he doesn't need to play that game because he's still resting, let that man rest. Let us have a full Kylian Mbappe by El Clasico time. I don't want us to have a halved Kylian Mbappe because we're going to need as much attacking power as we can against those guys. So, Getafe, hopefully we can get that dub. I've already explained how it would help us going into El Clasico, which is our next La Liga game on the 26th of October. You guys should be there. I'll actually be there. I told myself after the Atletico game that I'm not going to watch El Clasico, but maybe I was just being a little bit hyperbolic with my emotions that day, but I will watch El Clasico. It's El Clasico, man. You know, even if we lose 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, I would still watch the fourth game. But okay, there maybe I check out a YouTube streamer once or twice just to see the score, but I wouldn't watch the game. But yeah, it's the first one of the season. I have to watch it. I have to see. I have to assess my team because Atletico is our first real test. Barcelona is gonna be our first actually full on serious test because if we beat Barcelona, I'm going high hopes into our next game in the Champions League, which will be Juventus just before El Clasico, actually, which is the 22nd, actually. So it's in the middle of Getafe and Barcelona. We have Juventus. Hopefully, we can win that game and, go 4-4 in Champions League because I told you guys, 3? Where we played Kairat, Marseille, and who? I haven't played anyone else. Okay, yeah, then we'll go 3-3. I told you guys, us going 3-3, 9 points in the bank would be amazing. It would genuinely be amazing. Wait. We've only played 2 Champions League games. Why do I feel like we played a third one? Am I tweaking, guys? Is it me? Let's see. We played Kairat. We played. Oh yeah, we've only played 2. Okay, so Marseille and Kairat. So if we beat Juventus, going 9 points, I told you guys it starts to open up that window of certifying yourself in the top 8 position. Because I feel like in this new format, having bar 14 points gets you at least top 8. Maybe 14, 15 points, maybe 5 wins, or having like 4 wins, a draw, and another draw, and then a loss. You still have a top 8, because if we can get that, it sets us up, and then it also sets us up perfectly 4th November against Liverpool in the Champions League if we can win those next 2 games, Juve and Liverpool. I'm calling it, we're ending top 8, maybe even top 4, because from there it's City and some other teams. But so far, so good for us. This was a good game. This was a good result. Happy that Barcelona lost because it puts us in a good position back on top of the league. Hopefully, we can keep this and hold it strong. Hopefully, our team can get better and Xavi Alonso can get back to his winning ways, which he has right now, and we can continue like this. But so far, our last 2 games, I'm gonna give them thumbs up, thumbs up. Good message to send out to the fans, because had we done like, not to roast, but like a Liverpool where you lose in the league, because they've now lost in the league, lost in the Champions League, and then lost to Chelsea, and if we did that, it would send, with them, they're still in a good position league-wise, because they still have some hope. It's more questioning, but if we did that, like if we lost to Atletico and then went to lose to Kairat and then lost today and Barcelona lost, even if Barcelona lost, I wouldn't have released an episode. I think I would have just I'll probably release one just complaining, and I don't like to release episodes where I just complain, because I don't want to be sitting alone in my office with my mic and then just shouting. It makes me feel like I'm a mad person. So thankful that we could get those wins, guys. And one more thing I would be thankful for is if you guys can leave a like on this episode or the video if you're watching it on YouTube. Subscribe or follow to the podcast. Comment your thoughts down below. Tell me what you want to see in future episodes. Tell me your thoughts on this one and my previous episodes. Go check them out. Real Talk, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Share the podcast with a friend because it helps us grow. Tell anybody about this show. Peace.